He's been warming up in the bullpen while we had Cindy Morgan from Caddyshack in studio.
He should be accustomed to warming up in the bullpen, getting ready to get to the pitcher's mound.
And I know he's going to knock out the side here. He's a 6-time All-Star. He won a world championship with the 1960 Pirates. He invented, I'd say, the closer position. Elroy Face, how you doing, Elroy?
I'm doing fine.
Elroy, when you started closing for the Pirates, I mean, what did teams do back then? Did they just have different people come in and they basically, the Pirates said, you know what, let's have one guy just be dedicated to pitching the last 2-3 innings of the game?
Well, yeah, I guess they didn't really have any closers at that time. And up until 55, I started 27 games. But in 55, I'd say, or 56, when Murtaugh took over, I was supposed to start the day he took over, and he scratched me from starting, and I never started again. He just put me in a bullpen, and I was the closer from then on.
Was that his plan? I mean,
I don't know what his plan was. I had pitched for him in New Orleans, too, in 54. And so when he came up the following year as a coach and then took over as manager, he put me in the bullpen, and that's where I pitched my career.
Yeah. Because back in those days, I think Jim Constanti and maybe Hoyt Wilhelm a little bit would come in at the end of games. But usually that starting pitcher, unless he was getting rocked, would go the full distance.
Right. It's all changed now.
I mean, I look at your season back in the late 50s. You won 18 wins. I mean, starters struggle to get 18 wins nowadays, and you get 18 wins as a reliever. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, well, I had a loss there, too.
We won't talk about that.
I think most people would take 18-1, don't you?
Yeah, I believe so.
That World Series with the Pirates, I mean, it's gone down in history with the Maz home run. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm looking at the people you struck out in that first game. I mean, you had a who's who in baseball. I mean, you struck out. You had Moose and Mano. I mean, that'd be thrilling for you.
Well, yeah, I was a little bit nervous to start with my first game, but then after a first hitter or two, I settled down, and I struck Mano out on a forkball. He said it was a curveball, but it wasn't. It was a forkball. It just broke pretty good. But now I've got a sequence of pictures somebody sent me of when I struck Maris out. It shows me getting ready to throw the ball, and then me releasing the ball, and then him swimming, and the umpire calling him out. It's a sequence of pictures.
Now, you had one of the more effective forkballs during your day. How did that all come about?
Well, when I first came up, I had a curveball and a fastball, and that was it. And Mr. Rickey sent me to New Orleans in 54 to work on an off-speed pitch. And when I went to spring training, Joe Page threw a forkball, and he was trying to come back with the Pirates. And during spring training, I saw how it was working for him. And so when I got down to New Orleans to work on an off-speed pitch, I started working on that in the bullpen, and then the last half of the season I started using it.
When you won the World Series, was all of America behind the Pirates because they were sick and tired of the Yankees winning every year with all these future Hall of Famers?
I guess maybe their hearts were for the Pirates, but the money was on the Yankees. But we had one guy that I know went to Hawaii, and he put all his money he could get on the Pirates, and it ended up the next spring he came to spring training from Hawaii, him and his wife, and he bought a car in California, drove to Florida, drove back to California, had the car shipped back home when he was done here. And he had his house mortgaged and everything against the Yankees. And if he'd have lost his home and everything. But we won, and he won.
Now, after you won that World Series, did you say, okay, we should get another couple while I'm still here?
Well, yeah, we should have. In 1966, I believe it was, we lost out in the last series with the Yankees, or with the Giants. And that was odd, too, because I had thrown about 2 weeks before that. I threw a home run to Marichal, lost the ball game. So Walker wouldn't pitch me for the last 2 weeks of the season. I didn't hardly pitch any. And the last game against the Giants, it was the 12th inning, or 11th or 12th inning, after Blast come in and threw a home run to McCovey, and we were 3 runs down, and then he called me in to pitch.
Do you have any Bing Crosby stories? We've had Ralph Kiner on before. We had Dick Groat, and they told stories about when Crosby owned the Pirates. What was he like?
Well, I only met him one time in spring training in 1954 down at Fort Pierce. He was in the clubhouse, and I just met him. I never talked to him or anything. So, I mean, I couldn't say what kind of guy he was or anything. You know, I guess he was all right. He seemed to be all right.
Okay. Was there one batter who gave you the most trouble of any that you faced?
Guys like Richie Ashburn, fellas that guard the plate. I think Hank Aaron's got one home run off me all the time. He hit it the last time I faced him in Montreal in 1969.
When you came up to the big leagues, was there a player you basically idolized growing up, and when you got to face him, you said, you know what, this is incredible?
Not really. I didn't have any idols. I was 16 years old before I started playing ball in high school. I never played Little League. We didn't have no Little League or anything. So I didn't play ball until I was 16 years old in high school, and 5 years later I'm pro baseball.
I was going to say, how did that happen so quickly?
Well, I quit when I was 18. I quit school and went in the Army and pitched a few games in the service, not on a baseball team, but just pickup that we had. And we were over in Guam, and we just played weekends. We'd play games. And when I came home, I got hooked up with a town team, and there was a scout by the name of Fred Matthews. He was on vacation up around my home. And one week I struck out 17. The following week I struck out 18, and he saw the write-up in the paper about it. On Labor Day in 1948, he come and watched me pitch. In the seventh inning, called me over to the car and signed me to a contract.
A lot of times they say relievers have to have a different personality, mentality to be successful. Just having good stuff's not enough. Do you agree with that?
No, but you got to have a good arm. A good arm recuperates quick. Mine used to be tired at night after I pitched sometimes, and the next day I get up and felt like I hadn't pitched in a week. I mean, it recovered real quick. In fact, 1956, Reagan had me in 9 straight games. I think it was 16 innings I pitched in 9 straight games.
How many innings would you go? Would you go 2-3 innings at a time?
Well, from the 7th inning on, it was me.
Now, do you look at relievers nowadays who come in for, maybe a third of an inning or for a batter and wonder what's going on?
Yeah, they come in with 1 or 2 batters, and the batting or winning run never comes to the plate. The winning run had to come to the plate. The winning or tying run had to come to the plate in order for us to get a save. Now he can be sitting on a bench.
I mean, you had 193 career saves. When you retired, it was second behind Hoyt Wilhelm, who's in the Hall of Fame. Is there any talk about the Veterans Committee putting you in?
I doubt it. You're supposed to get so many votes on the original ballots in order to be eligible for the veterans. I don't know. Unless they change the rules, I don't know.
Okay. Now, you were pretty durable, having pitched as many innings and as many games, and nowadays it seems pitchers just don't last the way that they used to. Any explanation for any of that?
Well, I think probably they don't pitch them enough. Their arms aren't strong enough anymore. They run pitch counts, And back when we played, Bernard Law, for instance, one time went 17 innings against the Braves. It was a 2-2 ball game. And they used a pinch hitter in the 17th inning for him, and we didn't score. Friend come in to pitch the 18th inning, give up a run. We come back and got 2 runs in the bottom of the 18th, and Friend won it.
Well, you got to see another extra inning effort by Harvey Haddix when he had that perfect game against the Braves in Milwaukee.
12 perfect innings. Got 1 hit in the 13th inning, and we lost. We had 13 hits, and they got 1 hit. I never went to the bullpen that night. I stayed on the bench the whole night. Never went to the bullpen.
A lot is made about pitchers throwing inside, that they need to throw inside more, but a lot of times they say we're not throwing inside because we're not going to risk injuring these guys. They're making millions of dollars. What do you think about that?
Well, what about their line drives back at you? You're making $1 million. What's the difference?
So you think they should brush these guys back, not go for the head, but basically brush them back like Bob Gibson did?
Yeah, keep them honest. Keep them honest. Now, if they come inside on the guy comes out with a bat, he wants to kill you. Back when we played, if you knock a guy down, he'd get up and dust his pants off and get back in the batter's box, or if you hit him, he'd go to first base. That was it.
The Pirates now are doing well till they played the Cubs last week when the Cubs swept them. I mean, is Pittsburgh back? Is baseball back in Pittsburgh?
Baseball is good. I mean, well, they lost 10 in a row, their last homestand, but they're still drawing 40,000 people. And if you get a winning team in Pittsburgh, they'll draw. They've drawn because of the new ballpark. People love to go there, even if they lose. People love to go to the ballpark. So that it wasn't the team that was drawing them in the 18 seasons, the losing seasons. It's the new ballpark they love to go to.
Yeah. But after a while, that newness and wears off. Like in Cleveland, people would go to the ballpark to go to the new ballpark, and then the team stopped winning and the people stopped coming. Now Cleveland's back in contention, and people come back to the ballpark. So you need that. You need those players on the field to do their jobs too, don't you?
Well, true. They have to. They got to hit, score runs, and you got to get the other guys out. The pitching was real great first half of the season, and it faltered here lately a little bit. But when the pitching was great, we didn't get no hitting. Now, if we get 4 or 5 runs, sometimes the pitching goes sour. But I think they're going to be all right. They got the good nucleus of a good ball club.
Who was the best player who ever played, in your opinion?
The best player that ever played? Well, I don't know. A lot of them I didn't see.
Okay, how about the best player that you played against?
Well, I'd have to say Musial and Mays, Robinson. Back, I think in the 50s and 60s, there was more good ball players of any era in baseball. I mean, more players on each team, more good ball players, outstanding ball players. You could go pitch any team, you had 3 or 4 guys could really hurt you. Now you got maybe like St. Louis got Pujols. You don't have that many guys, Well, the Yankees and Red Sox right now, they still have it. But back when we played, every team had them. Like the Dodgers, they had Robinson, Hodges, Campanella, and Mays and Aaron and St. Louis. Milwaukee. It was altogether different then. I think there was more good ball players in the 50s and 60s than there are any other era.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Face. It was a pleasure talking to you. And you know what? You belong in the Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.